Hey, hello. How's everyone doing?
Hello.
Good.
Hello. Welcome to the next episode on the Sitting Tall podcast with me, Tony Chamberlain, and my buddy, Casey Ellen. Today, we have a wonderful, wonderful guest. Me and her go way back, friendship from cheerleading, but has always been there, and she's the light of my life every time I talk to her. She smiles for days. Welcome in, Joce.
Hey
Josh,
guys.
Hi.
welcome to the show. And a very interesting way to start the show with the hello.
Hello,
I like
hello.
it was sometimes you gotta switch it up. I like it.
You gotta switch it up, It can't be the same
It's good.
lame stuff all the time.
I listen, I like it.
Yeah, so Joce, what's going on?
Just hanging on the beach right now, waiting to talk to you
Yeah,
guys. That I've
yeah, living the good life right now.
It's a sweet beach chair you got going on right now.
Oh, I got this at Costco. I don't even know
Ooh.
how long ago. It's old. It's vintage at this point.
Oh,
Hey,
it's vintage? Oh, okay. Just like me.
Yeah.
Vintage.
T- Tony,
Yeah.
little vintage, aging like a fine wine though,
Oh
Tony.
yeah,
Like a
it's
fine
like a
wine.
fine, more like a fine cheap beer. That's all I gotta
Hey,
say.
listen,
Those
you
are the
know,
best though.
you didn't spoil yet, so we can still drink you. You're fine.
Okay, all right. Well, as long as I'm still drinkable, it's
Yeah.
all good. Oh my God. So, Jossie, what's been going on? I feel like it's been a long time since we spoke, and I'm very excited to catch up with you. Also, I love that Casey's probably going to drop you some questions because he doesn't know anything about you. So this is going to be a great interview.
Love it.
Like I said in the beginning, I met Jossie when we did cheer. We did cheerleading together for I don't know how many years, Joss. Do you remember? Like, wasn't too many.
I feel like it was like two or three.
Like
Three.
three. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she, like legit, like she always brought a smile to my face every time like she was around, and I love her attitude, and I love what she looks for in life. You know what I mean? It's all about, rocking and rolling and smiles. I love it. You know what I mean?
Love yelling at
So,
me to stay stiff while you try to throw me up in the air.
yes,
I
exactly.
never figured that one out. It's okay. It
Yeah,
wasn't meant to be a flyer.
exactly. That's why you were a better base, but that's okay. Now
Yeah.
you're onto bigger and better things where you're doing your own thing. Let's kind of come to modern day. So you're doing a lot of I see BMX riding nowadays. Cheerleading's kind of out of the picture, and now this is like your new thing.
Yeah, actually, I traded the cheerleading life for flipping and riding a bicycle around like a wild lady. But
Nice.
still the same types of injuries. Just this time I have to look out for a prop when I fall. Yeah, it's
Trade.
it's
Oh,
it's a lot of fun. It definitely keeps me mentally challenged and physically like moving and trying, and I like those challenges because I was never the kind of kid that could sit still, which is why cheerleading was such a big thing for me. And obviously you understand how much it was like for us to have something that we were working towards and like figure out how to accomplish it. So BMX kind of transitioned perfectly from the things that I used to try to learn with cheerleading to then trying to learn tricks and things on my bike. And it's
mhm.
cool because anybody can basically start cheerleading. You just have to then kind of keep progressing and trying new things as you go. And it's the same thing with BMX. As long as you can kind of ride a bike, and even that's something you can progress and learn. Bike tricks and BMX things kind of like go hand in hand with that, like levels of progression, and keep trying, like continuing to try and learn more and more, because there really is no limit to what you can learn. You kind of just keep going.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
like it.
It's
So
pretty
So
rad.
what
wait,
actually got you into like? Oh,
let me
sorry, go
just
ahead.
ask a quick question. Let me just ask a quick question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no
So,
worries, go ahead, man.
were the tattoos pre-cheerleading or post-cheerleading?
Actually, Daytona, I still have my cheer bow. It's never been covered and never will be covered.
Okay.
But I had a couple pre and then
Just saw
post.
I just saw the hand, and I'm just like that
Yeah.
does. I'm like I don't know if cheerleaders could have had that on the hand. So I was just curious if that was. Go ahead,
Listen,
Tony.
Case, there are some badass cheerleaders that actually
I
are tatted all up, like
oh
Oh
I
really.
didn't
yeah.
I didn't
Oh
know.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm thinking,
yeah.
I like with when I met the other cheerleader. I'm naive to. I'm thinking bring it on. Like I'm not thinking like
Oh
like
no, we're not prissy.
yeah no
Yeah, yeah.
I know
We're
that
not prissy.
I learned that
That's
from the
true.
last couple of people we met. So I was just was curious. Tony, you may
Yes.
proceed.
Yeah, so not all cheerleaders, and a lot of things that you do see in movies, like I said before, that's not what real cheerleading's
Yeah,
like.
not at
So
all.
like, yeah, it's totally different. And like I said, the people that we all met and came together with, they're all from like different walks of life, so they're not all
Hmm.
like have a cheer background. It's just if you want to do something fun and get together with a group of people and hopefully compete, and that's one thing to go down. Like I loved it. It kept me in shape, kept me athletic, and I got to meet
Yeah.
Hmm.
some pretty girls like Jossie here. You know what I mean?
I mean, listen, I mean that's a pretty solid technique. Pretty good job,
Right?
buddy. Good
All
job.
right,
Well,
diving it.
what's funny is that everybody who jumps in, like I've brought a couple of my friends, like Jack. Remember Jack?
Yes.
I brought Jack onto the team, and Jack had no idea what he was getting himself into. He just needed an activity. So, he's thinking this is going to just be something exciting. And we always get him in with like, we'll teach you how to backflip. And
Yep.
then they get hooked, and then they get basically as obsessed with it as we are. And they're like, well, what's next?
And that's
You
how it
know?
is. It's very challenging, and it's like it gets you like it gets your motors going once you start doing it. Because once you walk in the door and like go over
Yeah.
the first like hurdle, I guess you can say, then you're kind of like in it. It's kind of like a mini cult. It definitely is. When people go into it, they're like, oh, okay, I'm rocking with this. You know what I mean? So,
Oh, absolutely.
uh,
It's easy to say. You can fall in love with it pretty easy, especially because there's multiple levels to it. There's the community side of it, which, we had such a really great team, and I miss it. I really do. And actually it's funny, Matt texted me the other day, and he sent a picture of all of us laying on the mat together, and it was
oh
10 years
yes,
ago, and I was like, 10 years ago.
yep.
But it's like the community is great, and then once add the physical skill into that, that's even more exciting because your body starts to get accustomed to just like constantly keeping it guessing. And then you get out there and you compete, and the energy of competition is nuts. And whether the
Hmm.
whole team lands on their face or whether we're gonna like excel, because I remember knocking down a pyramid that Mark and I were thigh standing, and oh
Yep.
yeah, just
Things can happen.
Don't
That's for sure.
don't knock down
Yeah.
the
what's that
pyramid.
meme?
Yeah,
Oh
like
yeah.
things get crazy because like when you're building that stuff, you have to trust a lot with everybody. Like it's a total unit kind of thing, and
Hmm.
if one thing crumbles, guess what? It's all coming down, and it's
All
just
of
like
it.
it's scary. Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
People can get hurt too. You know what I mean? So it's like one of
Hmm.
those things. But yeah, that's how it all started between me and Joss here.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
I get
let's come more to modern day though, because like I
modern
said,
day.
modern day. I haven't spoke to Joss in a very long time, so this is great to actually catch up and have a nice interview. So yes, I was just talking a little bit off air with her about her BMX riding and how she got into it, which is what I wanted to bring up here. So like, what introduced you to the BMX world, Joss?
So after cheerleading, so I lost cheerleading because of student teaching. And it was 2 hours to get to cheerleading practice and then back home. So it was something that I kind of had to put aside, and I needed an activity still. So I went from cheerleading to then I actually got sponsored to learn how to skateboard. Couldn't pick that up quick enough. The person was just like, "Hey, just have fun with it." And I was like, "Hey, I'm really struggling. Like, I love this, but it's just not something I feel like good to be like on a team with if I can't quite do it the way that I need to." So that was something that I kind of stepped away from because I just wasn't feeling right with it. And then I actually tried bodybuilding because I also needed another activity there. And
Yes, I
then,
remember
yep.
that.
And then that was
Keep
like
trying them all.
not enough. I did. I'm trying to figure out where I
Okay.
fit. It
That's
just
it.
wasn't enough mentally stimulating to me because I was such a high energy kid, and my thing with cheerleading was tumbling. So my uncle had raced when he was younger. I'd been to a couple races with him just to watch. He's only a couple years older than me, so that age difference made it easier for me to be like, okay, he can do this. Like maybe I'll try it. And then I did my first race, met a whole bunch of my friends. My friend Gromdad was like, "Hey, listen, there's so much more to the other side of this," and he showed me the freestyle side. And this was after taking me to a Rebel Run in New York City, which is a checkpoint race where you're actually picking up stickers in different places, like all around Manhattan. And I don't even remember really where we went. We just were quite literally all over the city, and I almost died a couple times. I learned how to hop up curbs real fast. Like it was exhilarating, and obviously I'm an adrenaline junkie, so that was like perfect for me to kind of catch a hook. And then I had friends back home who I rolled with who had a really, really, good crew mentality that they taught me a bunch of little things and kind of kept me excited. And then from there, I just kept going to different jams and events and meeting other people and trying new things. And I found that my heart is more so in dirt. I really like dirt. But I also really love jams where there's like strange things I can try that I would never really get to try in everyday riding. Um, so yeah, it kind of escalated extremely quickly for me. So it's been around 6 years now that I've been riding, and I've done so much more than I thought I ever would, and tried so many more things than I ever thought I would. So an adventure for sure.
Y-
I've
Yeah,
loved every
definitely.
minute of it.
Yeah, like I said, I kind of follow you with all the posts that you do, and it's just like you're all over the place. And
Constant.
the best way to describe you is like, as a kid, they give you those block things with the holes, and you have to put the right block in the right hole. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do,
Well,
yep.
Joss is the star, and like trying to put her in a hole, like it's not gonna work. But guess what? She gonna try, and she gonna make it work.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So like I feel like that describes you to a key because you are not you don't shy away from things, and like if you see something
No.
cool, you are all in, and you're like, let's go, I'm willing to learn. And that's what I love about like your attitude on things, because I kind of do the same thing, but I do fear off on like something. I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna try that, I'll probably kill myself. You're like, let's do it, let's try it, and like
YOLO.
you're willing to do it. Yeah, exactly. Like the
Yeah.
one thing that comes to mind is when I saw like a stunt that you did where it was like I don't know the technical terms with BMX, but it's like you were going around a circle ramp. Like I don't know
Hmm.
what the heck it was, but I saw the video, and like the first one you did, you kind of like ate it, I think. Yeah, and it was pretty bad. Like scared the shit out of me. I was like, oh my god, don't end up like me. And yeah, and then the
Wait,
next one
no,
I saw you like
don't end up
completely
like me.
do it. I don't know how many takes it took, but it was friggin' awesome, and I like that adrenaline must have like hit you hard because like I saw the whole crowd go crazy too. You know what I mean? So
I worked
yeah.
on that. I worked on that nearly all day. That took me 7 tries, and it's so funny. Everybody laughs when I tell this story. So it's called an open loop. Yeah, and it's one ramp and then a finishing ramp. So you ride up it, and then you connect to the other side and come back down. But there's no top on it, so you kind of just like float for a hot second and then come back in. But um, it's
Nope.
what was what's up? You say
Nope.
no?
Nope.
He's
Nope.
like, nope.
I
Nope.
heard
Well,
float. I heard floating. That's fine.
so so fun story, right? When that was an event called Swamp Fest, and when I got to Swamp Fest, my heart was in the dirt jumps. There was a storage container, like those shipping containers you see on big boats. On top of that was where people were starting with their bikes, and they were dropping into the actual dirt jumps so that it gave them speed. It was their roll-in. So I'm like, I want to hit these dirt jumps. This is what I'm doing today. That's where my heart is. Like, I got to do something. Last year, I learned how to wall ride, which is like you kind of ride like up a wall that's almost straight up and down, but it's a little bit of a curve, and your bike just takes you. And I was like, I want to accomplish something else today or this year that makes me excited. So I was like, these dirt jumps, this is it. And once I got into the dirt jumps, I realized that I cannot drop off the container. I don't know how. So there was the container and then a little bit of a gap between the landing. So I'm like, oh man, like that just completely like ruined my plan for what I wanted to do. And then I got out there and I was riding some of the smaller dirt jumps, which really just kind of were reduced to like sandy bumps because so many people had ridden
The
that.
baby bumps.
Yeah,
Hmm.
we're in Florida. Like it was like ant hills. And then I gave myself a really good shinner, which is when like you catch your pedal on your shin.
Oh
And
yeah.
I was just
Mm.
like, you know what? Screw this. I'm mad. And I like went over to my friends, and at the beginning of the day, one of my friends was like, "Hey, try that." And I was like, "No, I'm good." I was like, I kept watching people do it, and then something hit me where I was like, why not? Like maybe I will. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm already kind of pissed off. I've got a little bit of like anger to drive me here.
Like
Like I
fuck it.
just wanted to ride the dirt, and a couple of my friends were like, Josh, like no one's done that, and I'm like, oh whatever. Like I won't be me. Anyway, I'm happy I tried it. My friends had to move it back together because so many people had ridden it that it like shifted and kind of grew apart farther and farther. So they put it back in its spot, and I started it. The first run, I was like, okay, I feel this out. The second run, I knocked the wind out of myself, and like I was like, all right, well this blows. I took a break for a sec. I went over to a couple of my friends, and like we have a very close community with BMX where you're gonna ride with a lot of pros, and you may not even know who certain pros are if you're new to the scene, like I was at the time. And I
Hmm.
remember telling someone who was standing next to someone else who I honestly don't even remember who that was because I'm friends with these people now, but I was like, I'm gonna hit that thing, and they were like, oh yeah. And the person next to them was just like, what? Who is this girl? Like, what's wrong with her? And somehow I went back and I tried it again, and that it happened. It worked. And I mean, will you understand like the mentality that we have, and we kind of all keep as, I guess, athletes who were into sports like cheerleading, like we're kind of like we get that little bit of a fire, and then we kind of can't put it down. we're
Yep.
very like, oh crap, like now I gotta, like I'm here to do something. I've decided what it is. I've called myself out on it. Now I've got to try it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened, where I was like determined to hit something. And then once I started to get it little by little, that progress is addicting
Of
and
course.
you want to get it done. And somehow I got it done. It was funny too, because the time that I did knock the wind out of myself, I didn't know I knocked the wind out of myself because I was laughing so hard about my shorts being too short and I was trying not to flash people. And I was like, I like started to kind of choke a little and I was like, oh no, I have no air. Oh, this is just a disaster. So
Oh my God.
yeah, it was very typical for like,
S-
me like
Yep.
laughing about something ridiculous that I, should be
Hmm.
getting hurt on, but it's okay. It was that was a hell of a
Yeah, I
thing.
feel like you do laugh like away a lot of stuff. Like, you just like,
Yeah.
I'll laugh it off, it's fine. But like in the meantime, you're over there like, damn, I just killed myself. You know what I mean? So like, you play it off very well. And like I said, like when I was watching some of those videos, I'm like, oh my God, this woman is crazy. Like crazy. Like I wouldn't even attempt to do something like that. And I'm adrenaline junkie. Like I love stuff like that. But I'm like, nope, no, thank you. I'm all
Well,
set.
I mean, it definitely comes with its issues. Like I have an ACL and meniscus in my right knee that like quite literally, like I don't know if you can see the stair. Can you see the stairs behind me?
Yep.
So
Hmm.
I was walking
yeah.
yesterday down those stairs and stepped wrong. I was recording and you can hear my knee pop out of place so hard and pop
Oof.
back in. Oh, it was awful. So I've got my things that I definitely need to take care of, and now I'm kind of just waiting till the appropriate time where I've got like a good season of off time.
Hmm.
So it'll probably be the winter, but I don't know. My thing is that like life is really short, and if you don't go try the things that you're interested in trying and know yourself enough to know what is really out of your comfort zone, what is okay to be out of your comfort zone with, what is definitely a do not touch this right now, you're not ready, like life is short, and if you don't just try things that you think you might be able to accomplish, like you're kind of doing yourself a disservice. Like nobody else is going to remember you didn't do it, but like you'll remember what you did go after and try while you were nervous about it. So it's kind of something that I don't know. I hold
Preach.
on to that pretty hard. Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
that.
I like that too. You know what I mean? That's a good philosophy to have right
Getting
there
good
because
quote,
it is
getting good
true.
quotes, getting good quotes on the
Yep.
podcast every episode.
Eventually, we are going to make the quote shirts, which
Oh,
I'm
it's
hoping to
you know,
do like in the long run, I guess you
Oh,
can
I
say.
love that.
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
Oh,
have
So
rad.
we'll probably take something and put it on a shirt and be like, Josh, this was your episode. You know what I mean? So
put
we'll
like a
see.
little quote, boom,
I like
boom.
that. Yeah.
Yep.
So
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask. So with the BMX, is it like racing or is it like, because like I've seen like X Games stuff, like where you're like doing like tricks and stuff. Are you doing all
Hmm.
of it?
I don't race anymore. I started with racing and realized that I really don't like riding next to people because if I'm gonna eat shit, it's gonna be my fault, not because somebody else is in front of me or too close. I also was petrified of the whole shot, so I could probably never race motocross like confidently.
Yeah,
So I don't really like that, and I like to be in control of where I'm gonna get hurt and know that I've made a
makes
decision
sense.
where that's gonna be a thing. So I don't race anymore. I did start with racing. I'll go kick around occasionally. I actually owe the tracks a couple visits because I haven't been there in a while to say hey. But I've also been kind of on a little bit of a break healing from a big accident that hurt me quite a bit and took me out for a while. But right now I am more so freestyle and dirt jumps if I can get to them. I've got a lot of friends that have them, but I have to travel to them.
Damn.
But yeah, more so the tricks. So the stuff that you see on X Games is more so park.
Mm,
Unless you watched the X Games dirt. I'm not hitting things that are that big. I've tried things that I've got no business trying. Didn't almost landed. Didn't quite land, but almost landed them.
yeah,
Um,
because
but
I
yeah,
just
more
saw
so
this guy just did. He like did like a flip and like let go of the bike and like
that's our Willie.
oh you know that guy?
I don't know him personally, but
Oh
he's a
my
very big name in
oh
BMX. Yeah.
Jesus! I was like, and then he's telling me, oh, we're gonna do a BMX person. I was like, man, I hope she doesn't do this kind of stuff because that
I'm not
Ah,
there
she
yet,
might.
but
he just like was flying and he like let go of the bike and then grabbed it.
Yep.
Nope,
yep. There's
I'm good.
there's some really
Good,
amazing athletes out there, and
good old Willie.
yeah, our Willie.
Nah,
But
Willie.
if I'm thinking of who you're thinking of, it's probably him. He's wild. There's a lot of really cool people out there. They do some really gnarly things, and the ways that they learn them is just trial and error. They're just trying everything. Usually they have airbags, which can also be dangerous. That's how I got hurt. I got hurt on an airbag.
But
Yeah, ironically enough, I got hurt on the moon bounce of bikes.
Oh my God. The
Oh.
thing that's supposed to keep you protected and like safely, yeah, it's gonna hurt you. No big
Yeah,
deal.
it was just
Yeah.
a fluke thing. But you know what? I always kind of joke like that's kind of when the Reaper checks in. And they're like, "Hey, you're human. Like, careful. Like, think
Trust
about
me,
it."
we've got to check in already. Yeah,
Yeah,
we've
we
already
Yeah, I
talked to him a couple
know.
times, I guess.
we,
I
we
know.
got
I know.
we have a permanent residency at his hotel, so
Yeah,
we're not
that's
allowed to
true.
leave. It's like
Well,
one of
look,
those
You're,
hotels you get in, but you just can't get out.
yeah,
It's like one of
that's
those
true.
labyrinth things.
oh
It's
my
like,
God.
ugh.
Well, what is it? Hotel California?
Oh no. Oh
No,
yeah, yeah,
no.
yeah. Yeah, that hotel once you go in, you don't come out.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
It's pretty similar to that, I guess you could say, but not in the greatest lifestyle.
it's like
It's like
murder house. It's fine. It's fine.
murder.
You know what? If you're in good spirits about it, that's the biggest part. And you're not taking no for an answer. You're taking do it different. And I think that's huge because a lot of people stop at you can't do this. And I think that's what separates the people that decide not to get off the couch versus the people who are like, I'm gonna see what happens. Like I'm gonna see what I can do because why not? And I
Yeah,
think being in good spirits is like the biggest part of all that. So I can't even imagine. But I mean,
yeah. I mean,
I
we
get
talk about it all the time that like you got to be in good spirits. You know what I mean? You gotta keep pushing forward because if not, it's just gonna catch up to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And with our styles of our lifestyles, we have to keep moving and like keep doing things, or things gonna end badly for us. So that's why we keep doing what we're doing, and we love doing this also. Like I said, talk to people and keep our minds off of things sometimes because not only is it a physical thing, it's a mental thing also. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like it's really nice to
absolutely.
just talk to people once in a while about it and just talk. Like I said, I love talking to people like you that make me smile and like not like for like a moments out of the day, just
Tony,
take away that
stop.
time, that little bit of time that I'm like,
Hmm.
I'm having fun here. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I feel that. And the mental side
Tony's
of things is huge too.
Tony's very giddy today, by the way. I'm just gonna let you know that. He's usually not this bubbly on the podcast, so I'm just gonna throw that out there right now.
Well, we
oh, is that
go
what it
way
is?
back. We
I
go
know
Yeah,
he's
way.
very Tony's I love it. I like this little got a little shimmy to him today. Let me
a
it's like
little of this.
ooh.
Yeah.
Honestly, this has been a long time because I kept having other things that popped up that I didn't plan well for because, like I said, I'm a big space cadet. So he's probably just happy. He's probably just stoked that we're finally getting to catch up.
I always say to her, I was like, she's too much a celebrity for me now. Like we
She's
never
No.
big time.
talk, you know
She's
what I
big
mean?
time.
So yeah, she's big time. You know what I
But
mean?
I think
She's got all these cool followers
she's got
now,
like
and
I
all that
think she
sort
has
of.
like a blue check on her name. Like it's just
Yeah.
like
Damn,
Oh no,
girl, look
no.
at.
she's
And I'm like, I know her, but she won't talk to me. She won't
yeah.
talk to me.
No, she does. You know what she does? She opens text messages and she forgets to respond. And she's like, "Oh, I'll answer this later." And then literally months go by and she's like, "Ah, fuck! Couldn't even find it again."
Just saying.
It's
She's
funny because I text her and then she's like, "Oh, I was supposed to respond to you, but I guess I forgot to say it." I'm like, "Great." I
she
was like,
she's so big time. She's talking in the third person now. So just
"Oh,
No,
I see how it is. I see how it is."
I'm
yeah,
the
no.
same. I'm the same space cadet that you knew back when, just
Oh, okay.
Now
with a
she
bike
just
now.
flies. She flies on a bike instead of flying in the air with no bike.
That's right. That's right.
So it's even
Now she's on the little bit more of a wild side, I would say. Like
yeah.
Baymax is definitely a lot different than Cheers. So like that's kind of interesting that you got into that. But I know that you would probably get into something along the lines of that because like your attitude just alone, it's just like I see you doing this stuff. You know what I mean? So like when I seen you more and more, like putting more content out, I was just like, yeah, this is Josh's world, and you're just living in it. You know what I
No, I
mean?
love it. It transitions pretty well though. And I will say that the
Mhm.
things that I was really bad at when I was cheerleading and tumbling carried over pretty hard into other stuff. Like I cannot 360 because
Hmm.
my folds were never connected correctly where my head and my body would go the same way. I
Yeah,
look, then my body goes and it throws off my 360 and I always eat shit. And I haven't
yeah,
tried 360s since I actually blew out my knee because there's just no point and I'm gonna get hurt
yeah.
with that. So I have to get this. I have to get some things fixed and then I can go work on the things that I was never good at because of cheerleading.
Seems like a pretty solid transition, like with the acrobats, like the flipping, the jumping, because you guys had cheerleaders. You guys got to have a lot of core strength, and obviously,
Yeah.
I feel like it's a pretty. Obviously, it might be a little bit more on the wild side, like like what people think when they see like somebody on a bike. But I feel like it's a pretty solid transition. I mean, I could see
Yeah.
it happening. I mean, at first I was like, cheer, it's a bike, but I'm just like, as you're talking about it, I'm like, okay, kind of
Yeah.
sound a little similar, just outside and dirty, you know, which
Well,
is
it is
fine.
really funny when people look at me and they're like, because I was cheer captain in high school, which is like such a opposite direction of where
Yeah.
like what I look like,
Yeah.
what I do. I feel like I look like a stoner snowboarder who doesn't smoke. So I'm like, when people are like, "How did that?" And I'm like, I don't know. It was always me. But I will say that they're like it's kind of cool to see how things transition over, but there are definitely things that are completely opposite, and I had to unlearn them too. So, for example, when we pull a tuck, which is a standing backflip, we rotate from the center. So our arms go up, we pull, and we pull our knees to our chest, and then we can rotate backwards. For bikes, it's a gainer. I don't know how
Oh
to
yeah,
gainer, and it
gainer.
like yeah, and
Yeah.
the loop that I did.
Gainer.
So when you see people jump off cliffs, and they throw their
Wait,
body and their legs go first,
yeah.
that's called a gainer, and you're
That's a
Oh
gainer.
yeah,
leading.
I've seen a
Mhm.
gainer, like people doing it, like jumping off a diving board. They'll do like yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
I was gonna
entirely
say you should
different,
know it. Come on, bro.
I
You
mean,
know.
it sounded. I was like, I'm just
different.
gonna
Yeah,
fucking gainer. I was like,
Yeah.
I've
So
always
it's
let me break it down for you guys. So a backflip is when you're standing still and you just turn your body that way, one direction.
we
A
call that
gainer is
we
like
call that a tuck, Tony, not a backflip. So
Oh, look at you! Look at
yes,
you! You know, look at you.
you know,
Okay, I was bringing it down to the level where people
cheer
could understand because
captain.
when we say tuck, people are gonna be like, "What are you tucking your belly?" or like, "What's going on?"
yeah,
But when you say a backflip, everybody's like, "Oh, I know what a backflip is." You know
yeah,
what I mean? So it's
yep.
a little bit more of an explanation from my audience. Excuse me, Casey, from my
Fine,
audience.
fine,
You
fine.
know, the one or two people that still follow us. You know what I
Hey,
mean? Just
hey, hey,
saying.
hey! Don't you
Oh,
say
sorry.
last video 1,000 views, brah.
I know,
Oh
right?
hell
Wow.
yeah.
You know,
Yes,
you know what I'm
yes.
Okay.
saying?
We're coming up a little bit. You know, not too
You
bad. You
know,
know.
wait a minute.
Here we go. Here we go.
Wait a
What are you
minute.
bringing up? No,
I'm just
no.
saying that 1,000 views. 1,000 views. We
Here we go. We get some.
we did,
I'll do the
I'll
petty clap.
I'll be
Petty
here all
clap.
week. I'll be here all week.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I don't know what you
Although
did to my video, but I only see you in like small circles now. But that's okay. I can still finish this up. I can make it work.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Casey does one thing and it's like messing me up. Oh, did you? Never mind. I'm not gonna try to mess with it. Anyways,
I
let's
it
didn't
move
says
on.
touch.
media board.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like I said, it just made it like a little
Oh
smaller.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You just got to close the media board.
How do you close the media board?
It's just a little X on top, but don't touch things when
Yes, I'm not.
you
I'm
know
not gonna. Yeah.
don't
I'm
touch
not gonna
this
do
don't
it.
touch the stove. Don't touch the stove.
Let it be.
Don't touch the
Just
stove. It's
let
hot.
it be. Yes, right. We gotta stay away
Stove's
from the
hot.
stove right now.
Stove's hot.
Yep.
Stove's hot.
Stove is very hot. That's for sure. So, but anyways, moving on. We're trying to explain things here, but yes, I think I got that. So that I never even thought of that when you're transitioning from chair to BMX, like the
Mhm.
differences between things. But it does make sense that if you can't do it like a twist with chair, then it probably would be a little difficult to do it on a bike. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's definitely something that you have to train your body to do, and
Mhm.
if you're willing to push yourself like you do, I'm assuming, you know, you do a lot of pushing, that you'll figure it out. You know what I mean?
Yep,
So,
that and learning how to successfully bail. The art of
oh my
bailing
God, yep.
is huge for to be honest for any sport like this, and like it's crazy to see how many things transfer over, and it's kind of cool. But bailing is like anybody who wants to get into any sport like this, I say learn how to bail first. Like figure
Yeah,
out where you are. You have to think like a cat. Like what's on the ground next to me? What am I going to land on? Like that's why when I go after things that I want to try, I'm much more comfortable doing things that are bigger and like a bigger jump or whatever than the smaller things, because smaller things I have less time to react. The bigger things I have plenty of time to think out what's happening. I can ditch my bike. I know it's going that way. The rest of my body is going this way. Like it's kind of time like slows down in a way where you can kind of put yourself where you need to and then figure out how to bail out of it. Pretty rad.
I'm falling. Gonna land on my feet.
Well,
Gonna
no,
throw it.
I've got some really weird bails where I definitely don't land on my feet, but I was able to like tuck and roll, or
yeah.
like shoulder it in a way where like I'm not, not breaking
Eat,
a collarbone, which
not
I just did too.
eating shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're falling with style.
Mhm.
Falling with yes, I
Isn't
like
that
that. Falling with
is
style.
that
Yes.
it's from Toy Story? No big deal.
No, yeah, no big deal.
Buzz
No big deal.
Lightyear, I'm falling with
Yeah.
style. I know.
See, she gets me.
I get
Listen,
you.
Yeah.
I got it. All right.
I mean, I'm
Don't
just
brush me
saying.
off like that. Like I
You
never
might,
watched Toy Story,
you
sir.
might. I don't know, man. You didn't react on you.
Listen, I'm letting her react. She's our guest.
I
You
didn't
know
know
what I
you were a
mean?
cartoon guy. I'm sorry.
I thought it was
I'm an
great.
everything guy. All right. You need to
Falling
stop
with
it.
style. I think that's perfect.
Yeah.
Falling
I
with
try.
style.
I try. My falls are not that graceful sometimes, but they're funny. They're definitely
Oh,
funny.
they are funny. Like I do look at some of your stuff and I laugh. That's for sure. Because like I said, it's because I know you too. You know what I mean? So I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my god, I know exactly what she was thinking in that moment. Probably
Get
is.
out of that though.
Yes. Oh my god.
Story of my life. That's definitely a big one for me. Yep. I've had a lot of things happen where I don't know how I got myself out of it either, but somehow it worked.
Hey.
Hey, that's right. Keep it working.
And since you've known Tony for a while, do you have any interesting or funny stories that you would like to share? Because I would like to hear a little bit about some Tony stuff that I might not know from somebody else.
Oh
She's
my
pleading the fifth
goodness.
right now. She's pleading the fifth
Oh
right now.
no, she's thinking she's gonna get something good.
There's no stories. There's no
Well,
stories.
no,
Stop it.
I will say that
There's no.
do you remember when we had one part in the routine? I was never really allowed to dance because I was terrible at dancing. But there was one part
You
in
were
our
terrible.
routine. Oh, I was.
Yeah.
Well, you're lucky. You're a dude. They put you in the back to throw the girls. Me, they
That's
were like,
true.
"What do we do with this girl?" So a lot of the time I was tumbling or I was put in the back to throw with the boys because I
What do
had
we
like
do
the
with this?
power, but I know what she can't dance, so I was not in the front and I was so okay with that. But there was one part in the routine, and I'm pretty positive it was you and I. And I had to like do a round off, and you had to catch me and like fold me and whip me back out.
Oh my
Do you
God.
remember that?
I kind of remember that. Yes, there were some uncomfortable things that they made us do, and
Oh
that was
yeah.
definitely probably one of them.
And
Uh,
learning that was outrageous. And all I can remember is that it was a Ludacris song. And every time that song comes
yep.
on, I laugh because I'm like, man, learning that was such a disaster. And like the amount
Luda.
of times that you have to apologize to your partner because you like punch him in the face or like kick him in the downstairs by accident or like, and like you
In
just
the
have
down,
to keep
not the
going. And like
downstairs.
that song, that song reminds me so much of just laughing like crazy about that. And I'm almost positive that was us that we had to do that part together. Um, that was, I mean, we also got put like with multiple people to see what made sense for where we were supposed to line up for the routine anyways. But, obviously we were just like a big family and they would like take us from one person and put us at the next. But, yeah, no, I just remember like always laughing. You always had the music on. You were always our DJ no matter what.
Sounds about right.
Absolutely.
That
Yep.
has not left Tony. That
Good.
he's still the resident DJ.
That's important. No, I just remember always like you always made us laugh. You always had something funny to say, and you always made us laugh. And I genuinely like I missed coming to practice every day, or not every day, but every time we had practice, because we had such a good, like all of us had such a good time together. And we like when Tony said like all different walks of life, like how do we even begin to describe like all the different things our team did? Like Jack, I'm pretty sure Jack was a sniper and he just didn't want to tell us because he used to tell us about like, oh yeah, I've done a lot
Whoa.
of things in like the army or whatever he was even involved in that I can't tell you about. And we're like, well, we want to know. And then when Mikey tried to teach him how to tumble
The
and Jack nearly
fuck?
punched Mikey straight in the face. I think it was
What?
Mikey and DJ. Like we just had so many different types of people. Bridget was a vet, right? Like so
Gee,
many people. Casey was a Power Ranger.
yeah,
She was on the
yeah.
Celtics.
I met
Yeah.
I've met Casey. She's a Power Ranger.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
she used to
yeah,
do Power
a
Ranger
Power
gigs in the
Ranger,
city.
Jason Bourne, a vet.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
okay,
I
this is cool.
remember. Oh yeah. Yep. I remember Scotty's parents yelled at him because in order to pay for college, he tried to be a stripper.
Listen,
What else happened? I'm pretty
there's a
sure
lot.
Mikey like
There's good money in that.
well,
Just saying.
not
Good.
for Scotty because his parents said no thank you. I know.
He's
He's
a
a
bushman.
hippie. I know.
Bushman.
Yeah. Complete 180. Yeah. I love
Ah,
it.
that's a look.
He's
That's a look though. Like people go to they try to look dirty. To like that.
well I
It's
think he
like you
does the
woke
off
up.
the
It's like
grid.
rub some dirt on your face a little bit. It's like, oh, I woke up like this. It's like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
you rolled in. Yeah, I rolled up in
Yeah.
the mud. That's fine. That's fine.
But he's crushing it. It's so cool to see like what all the different directions that everybody went. Like we literally had such a like a crazy mix of people. Oh my gosh, and do you remember rafting on the Saco River? That was so fun. Yeah. It was Maine to New Hampshire. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So you
That
just
was
it's just like a
so
long lazy river. Like just
hmm
that sounds
Yeah.
that's and you're just like what, like on a tube or whatever, just hanging out.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
And
Oh,
Oh,
cool. So you just like meeting new people along the way, talking
it
shit,
was
like just having
so
a good
much
time.
fun. We were supposed to
Nice.
have a big crew that went too, and it only ended up being like 4 of us. Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh, we totally did.
That
Yeah, no,
sounds
that was
like a real good
amazing.
time.
Yeah, highly recommend that. That was an awesome time. I still talk about that with my friends, and they're like, "We have no idea what you're talking about." I'm like, "Don't worry, just listen." Oh man, yeah, yeah, enjoy them. Um, awesome. I travel a lot, which is really cool, and um, obviously, so I got hurt like, oh my gosh, it's like 2 summers ago at this point, maybe three. Holy moly! I have to check my dates because things that uh weren't great don't sit in my memory very well. So knowing timelines like that is not cool. But anyways, I've been out of the game for a little bit. I did still get to travel as much as I could. While I was kind of in the middle of, I had a really badly broken tib fib that I did on the airbag. So um, I had 4 different surgeries, and in between each of those surgeries, I was cleared to do what I needed to do, except for the last one, and then would have to go back in from some complications. So in the middle of that, I still traveled a bunch, and I got to still connect with my big bike family. But riding is really cool because you meet people from quite literally all over the world, and we all kind of have this like strange interest together that brings us together. So the community is really wild, and like our cheer team, it's like all walks of life, and you have no idea what people do, but we just know that they ride bikes together. So it's kind of neat because it's almost like you've got these opportunities to couch surf and just exist wherever you'd like to hang out with riding friends. Hold on, my headphones just died. Can you guys still hear me? All right, let me put my other one in. Let's see if this works. But
Not the headphone, man.
it did.
Yeah, but I mean, it says recording on mine. It has 40 minutes.
Mine says 7, or not 7. Mine stopped and is now going again.
And now that I think, yeah,
Oh
mine
man,
says 40 minutes and 33 seconds or whatever. Still counting. It says 99% uploaded.
I'm sorry, guys.
Gosh darn it.
Okay, well let's backtrack a little bit. So, basically, while I was hurt, I still got to travel a bunch, which was really cool. I got to actually go to Vancouver. I did an ad for Pit Viper, which
Wait,
was really fun. Can you
voice
hear?
is you're doing the Chinese video again. You disgrace my family.
How about
Talks.
now?
I mean, you know what? Let's just let's roll the dice. Let's roll the dice. Razzle
If
dazzle. Give it.
if we have to half
Hit
and
us with
half
the
this,
juice.
we can. We can always pick up later if we need to, or we'll just
Oh,
pick up at another point. But yeah, I got to do a lot of really cool stuff and meet some new people, and our world is very small, knit, close knit, but also very big. So people all kind of have the same mentality as I do, which is really rad. And I'm constantly meeting new friends, but my friends that I have met through bikes are the same types of people and the same types of community, as what I looked for and everything else that I've done. So yeah,
with
it's, I honestly, it sounds so corny and so cheesy and like warm fuzzy, but I highly recommend anybody who is interested in meeting people in the action sports world in any form to just jump in and like go watch an event, go talk to people, go try to like participate in something. Like it's such a warm, welcoming community that people are very excited to keep it going, which means a lot to me because if people don't keep something like this going and keep the community going, then they will never progress and grow to be bigger, and then it'll eventually die. Like how people say like certain things have died off and like trends have stopped. We're almost like fighting to keep the trend alive because we love it so much. So, and it's not really a fight. It's it's something that everyone kind of just does on their own. We're happy to keep it going, but just by being excited about what we do is bringing new people into the sport every day, which is cool. The Olympics have been huge with that too, and
yeah.
the Olympics and X Games. So, women's BMX is now in the X Games, which wasn't a thing before. So that's pretty cool. They finally allowed that in. And the
It's
reason
about
that it
time.
wasn't, well, yeah. So the reason that women's BMX was not in the Olympics before was because they were worried that the ratings would go down. But meanwhile, it actually boosted the ratings for the
It'll
X
go up.
Games. Yeah. So which was really cool. But
Cute girls
I
riding
don't.
around. Come on.
Well, these
What?
girls are crazy. They're really not
Sign
far
me up.
behind the guys either, which is awesome. It's really, really cool.
I
So
feel like girls could probably do different tricks because they're lighter, more flexible, maybe a little bit,
not
maybe a little,
it's
maybe fly a little higher, maybe.
it's
Yeah.
actually a little bit harder for us to learn certain things because our center of gravity is different. The way that our bodies are made versus guys' bodies, like our hips kind of contribute a lot to where our gravity is over the bike. So there's certain things that we have to do differently. And it's funny. So a while back, a
These
couple
hips
of
don't
my
lie.
friends were trying to what?
The hips don't lie.
No. A while back, I had a couple friends who were trying to teach another friend how to do something called a manual, and they realized that the way that a manual is a wheelie, basically, they
Oh, I know.
realized that the very good. Not everyone does,
Oh no,
but
I used to play like the Tony Hawk video game, so I'm all about
okay.
this right now. That's
So
fine.
you know the
Yeah.
tricks, yeah.
Hmm.
So they
Oh,
there's
I
too
remember the
many.
manual. There's a lot.
There's too
There's a
many.
lot.
As long as you know what a bunny hop is and a
And
manual,
a tailspin,
a
No, but,
tail whip, but
oh,
same.
whatever. You know what? You know what? She's on timeout. She's on timeout. She's on timeout.
It's okay. Um, yeah, they
Oh,
realized that trying to
oh,
teach her how to do the manual wasn't going to be the same body mechanics as they were used to. So
hmm.
it's very interesting how that all comes into play. Um, and it just like women are a tiny bit behind the progression level that guys are right now, but not far. Which is really, really rad. And we do have some really awesome elite female riders out there that are just they're absolutely kicking ass, and it's so cool to see. And the fact that there's now more platforms for them to really like exist in that space is really cool too because it's one thing to just go out and do it, but it's another thing to have that positive representation of like that it exists. I
Oh
think that's
yeah.
cool. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. That's not for girls. Like, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa.
honestly, that's probably my favorite part is that I mean, I'm not the best rider. I've got so much I have to learn. I'm a trier. I'll try everything. And I think that's what kind of earned me a space in the BMX community in a different way is because people know that I'm not going to let things hold me back and I'll give it a good solid try and I'm open to learning. But I think that's my favorite part is that there have been multiple occasions where I've had people of all ages. It's not even just like little girls or like adult women come up to me and say like, "Hey, I grabbed a bike because I don't know, I saw you doing it and you made it look fun." And that's what I'm proud to do. I'm proud to, I'm not competing. I'm not able to participate in those big things because I don't quite have all the skills that I need to quite yet, but I am so proud to be able to pass the excitement on to someone who might not have picked up a bike had they not seen someone having fun on it. And I've heard it's actually been really cool. There's been people who I went to school with who were like, "Hey, Joss, like I saw you racing," and I was like, "I tried it, and now I'm obsessed with it." And they're like guys that are my age who picked up a bike, which is so cool to me.
Yeah.
I think that's
That's
huge. I
awesome.
think people forget once they get out of school and they get out of activities that kind of tend to end. Like we're lucky with the cheerleading side of things that there is another route for us to continue to stay physically active after college is over and high school is over. All Stars really gave us that opportunity to continue something that we love to do. But not everyone else has that chance where they realize that like because once football ends that now what once baseball ends like yeah there's a beer league but now what so
Mm,
and that's another I was a phys ed teacher at one point and that's why I went to school for that was because I really wanted to show kids that it doesn't end after this you can continue on and find other ways to stay active and excited and it's been cool that that's been a thing for me is that I've been able to inspire people of all ages to just try and ride and just like realize how much happiness that you can gain from bikes, I guess, and the community
yeah.
involved with bikes and everything. I feel like I'm rambling, but it's definitely something
Oh
that hits
no.
me really hard in the feels.
You could tell you're something that you're passionate about, and that
Yeah.
it comes through by what you're saying. So it's like it's people need to hear stuff like that because it's that's why I feel like me and Tony like we like doing the podcast. Like it's
Yeah.
just something that we like doing. Like it might not be like like physically active, but it's just it's us able to kind of talk and somebody might see Tony or myself and like, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll go start a podcast or or yeah. Oh, I think I
Well,
want to do it from London. I think I want to do a podcast now.
I
What?
mean, honestly, not for nothing, like you're completely right. Like people forget that there are other things out there besides going to work. And
Yeah.
you need to find something to be passionate about,
And
whether
9 to
it's
5
art
suck.
or yeah, and honestly, like most people can't figure out, and I struggled to figure that out until I found the social media side of things that allowed me to step into another world to find the not so 9 to 5 and be able to like love what I do. But like people don't realize that you need a passion thing. You need hobbies. You need a community of sorts. Like you need those. You can't just really be a loner all the time and find as much happiness as you can if you don't dip your brain into something that gives you that like soul happy. If that makes sense.
All,
So,
all about that
mhm.
soul happy. I love
Otherwise,
it.
we get bitter and old and gross.
And and gross. Oh, and you get
Yeah.
bitter and gross, like one of the hocus pocus switches.
No, I really think that's so important though, honestly. Like all jokes aside, like my mom's an artist. She loves doing art. She's got her normal school job, but her art is her thing. And she tries to incorporate that in everything she does. It gives her a reason to travel. It gives her a reason to have quiet time and enjoy it. She's not in her head so much. Like she's able to step out of the everyday like bullshit, for lack of a
Yeah.
better term, and submerge herself into something else that makes her happy. And I think that's huge. Not everybody can find those things. For me,
Yeah.
if I sit still for too long, I lose my mind. Like I can't, I just can't, I can't do it. So I need to find that movement. But you know, if I was the kind of person who did like, you know, to sit down and do art, or I mean, I even enjoy editing. Like there's certain things that I've got to hold on to, otherwise I'll go nuts. But yeah.
Yeah, you gotta find that thing. You
Mhm.
gotta find that thing.
Yeah. What's the point?
Yeah.
Yo, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
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 Well, also
Prob-
because there's so many different segues too. Like you don't realize that like loving to read might lead you to work at a bookstore, which might then all of a sudden send you into being a writer. Like you know that you don't know. Like if you don't put yourself out there and go try, you might not know where that average what everyone does all day long might not be for you, and you might not be able to find it had you not stepped through another door. So
True. No, it's been a pleasure getting to know you a little bit and getting to see one of Tony's old buddies. And yeah, it's been thank you for coming on the show. Appreciate it.
yeah. Thank you for having me. I totally appreciate it. It was really cool to meet you, Case, and also Tony.
Did
Always.
you did you just call me Case? Did we just become best
It says
friends?
Case right here, and we did.
Wait,
You want me to long term it, Casey, or do you want me to
it,
short it?
no, it's fine. I like it. Now we're like besties. That's fine. Call me Kate.
Buddy,
Oh, Ben,
for sure.
I already followed her the other day when you sent me her page.
Oh, you
And I was
did? I'm sorry.
yeah,
I've been really neglecting
yeah
my
no
page
no
because of work.
it's cool. It's I know. Oh, sorry. My blue check got in the way of my notifications. I'm sorry.
I do not have a blue check, but I
Well,
also have been
you're
buried
pretty.
in my work thing.
It you should have a blue check. You
You?
got yeah. But Tony, you want to end it off? Yes. Excuse us.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful shirt.
Oh, I do. I have to thank a lot of people. Old
I
Bones
do.
Therapy. I've got to thank Burn. They are my helmet people. I've got to thank, oh my goodness, too many. My shoe sponsor, Union Square, my bike shop at home, Tony's Bikes, Dance Comp, who always takes care of me, 15 Distribution. They've always taken care of me. They're um just an awesome group of people. I've got so many really cool people that back me that it's almost hard to rattle them all off. My coffee serve people.
Hey, that's it. Yeah.
Sounds good.
You
All
stay
right.
classy, planet. Stay classy, planet.
Oh,
Oh
fireworks.
snap! Wait a minute.
I don't know.
What the heck just happened here? What?
Yeah.
Whoa! Oh! Oh, you know,
I know this one
it's
does
not fair.
something
It's not
too.
fair. Hold on. Uh, uh, wait. What cut?
Android.
This, I, I'm on a Mac. This wedding is horse shit. When the fuck? Yeah. When the fuck did we get ice cream? What the shit is this?
That is one of my favorite movies ever.
Uh, uh, that movie will ever forever live in my heart. And nobody like Tony was like one of the first people to get when I said like when the fuck did we get ice cream? Tony immediately knew exactly what I was talking about. I was like, oh my god, you know that movie? Because nobody, because that's such like a funny line. Like if something
Uh-huh.
something had to do with like when the fuck did we get ice cream? And everybody's like looking at me like Like, no, we didn't really get ice cream, you idiots. Like, yeah, yeah. Like, do you want to go
So
do
many
karate in
movie
the garage?
quotes.
Yes, yeah. I live. That's how I speak. It's my second language. But
Amazing.
I got my minor in it in college. Yeah. Have a good one.
All right.
You stay
Bye, guys.
classy, planet Earth.
Thank you.